Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. Episode 7 of the Pick and Roll podcast. It's me, your boy Chris, with my man,
Super.
Super who? Super who?
Super Dave.
It was a super Final Four over the weekend. We're going to get to talking about that. A lot of super things happen, in the headlines and things, in the sports headlines. So we definitely going to discuss all that. But I'm happy to have you here, man. I'm glad we back.
Yeah, man.
We're trying to be the model of consistency here on Pick and Roll Podcast, Indeo Group. Follow the page. Follow us on YouTube. Follow us on Instagram. You know what I mean? Follow Super Dave Henny Hardaway for the day's raunchy jokes. And if you have people in your life that don't appreciate these kind of jokes, then, I wouldn't read his jokes out loud or while you're at work.
Nah.
It's good comedy. It's good adult comedy.
When you're having a bad day,
Yeah.
go on my page.
Yeah, definitely. So we're gonna get these mics right real quick. There we go. But Dave, man, on a scale of 1 to 10, how do you think Paul Pierce is feeling about losing his job over strippers and twerking on Instagram?
And I think behind closed doors he's a little hurt. But
you think he is?
yeah, I think behind closed doors he's a little hurt, but in public he's gonna put the Paul Pierce bravado on.
I got you. My thing is, I feel like in some way he knew he was out of there soon, so this was just accelerating the process.
Yeah, probably.
I mean, you can't work for Disney and think that that's going to fly. ESPN is Disney, everybody. For anybody that doesn't know, Disney doesn't play that. You can't say anything borderline controversial. They censor everything. It's just not the wave over there. So, I mean, I know Paul Pierce is going to be all right, though. He made a lot of money in his NBA career. So, I think when people act like, this is some devastating life circumstance, it's definitely not. Paul Pierce will be fine. He was, people say he's a Hall of Fame basketball player, but that's up to debate if you ask me. But he'll get in because everyone gets in the Hall of Fame in the NBA.
Yeah. Yeah, he's a borderline Hall of Famer.
Yeah, definitely. Speaking of basketball, Gonzaga falls to Baylor last night after hitting one of the greatest shots in Final Four history. I mean, my man had the ultimate poise when he put that shot up. First of all, let's talk about the shot. Did you see anything that UCLA could have done to stop that shot going up?
Yeah, foul.
Would you have taken a foul at that point instead of letting him get that free release?
Yeah.
Put him on the line for a 1-and-1?
Yep.
With 3 seconds left?
Yep.
Okay. I mean,
definitely would have fouled him.
I see both sides of that. It's just, man, I mean, he took off and they didn't know what to do. That was the pressure of the moment.
But UCLA wasn't in a 1-and-1. They had a foul to give.
Oh, they weren't.
No,
that changes it. They should have fouled.
So they should have fouled and had them take the ball out.
Had them take the ball out and try to force up a tough shot from a sideline inbound.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, that changes it. I didn't know the situation. I didn't get to catch the end of the game, but I saw the highlights maybe 10 minutes after it happened. I got a text message like, oh, you got to go check out what just happened between Gonzaga and UCLA.
Right.
It was the shot of the century and all that. And I'm like, yo, it's only 2021. There's just a lot more years left. You guys got to relax. But last night, Gonzaga got manhandled by Baylor. What did you see in that game that, kind of explains what the rest of the world saw?
I saw exactly what you just said. They got manhandled. They got bullied. It was like everything that falls under that umbrella.
Yeah.
That's what happened.
Oh, so just the whole spectrum of manhandle. It happened in Gonzaga last night.
It happened. It happened from tip off.
Yeah. One of the quotes I got was somebody said Gonzaga looked like an AAU team that never played a team from the hood.
That's spot on. It was like at the beginning of the game, they jumped out like 9-0.
Yeah.
It was just like Gonzaga played like they never played against guards like that before.
Well, isn't that the thing with the was it the WAC that they're in or the West Coast Conference?
West Coast Conference.
Yeah, West Coast Conference. Isn't that their thing? They don't have guards like that. They don't have ballers like that.
Mm-mm. West Coast Conference is all them California schools.
Yeah.
So I mean, you're not. But what people don't realize is like, yeah, Gonzaga had an undefeated regular season, but COVID canceled their game against Baylor early in the season.
Yeah.
So we we could have saw this early in the season, but it just happened on a bigger stage.
Yeah, and Baylor, they looked hungry from the pieces of the game that I saw, and they came out with a lot more aggressiveness and a lot more energy. And I think a lot of times a lot of the emotion can be spent when you get to the finals off of a miracle play like that, especially going to overtime. And you really only got one day off. So this is the biggest stage these guys have ever been on, and it's high stress on the body, it's high stress on the mind, and then you got to turn around less of 36 hours later and do it again against what's likely to be a tougher team.
And I think Baylor had a little bit of a rest because when they played Houston, I think they beat Houston by like 30. So
Yeah.
you were able to take your starters out. So now, let's say they took their starters out for the last 7 minutes of the game, 6 minutes of the game. So now your starters is resting for that 6 7 minutes, and then watch you have a dogfight with UCLA, and then came back for the national championship. So they were, I mean, quote unquote, the fresher team.
And the fact that they had to throw the kitchen sink at UCLA.
Yeah.
They saw everything. They saw all of their sets, all of their coverages, all of that stuff. It was there for everyone to see. That's where I think Baylor definitely took advantage. They're well coached. And I think before the podcast we were talking, it was hoopers versus basketball players.
Yeah.
Explain that to people who don't quite understand what we're saying.
Hooper, I would say a hooper is them kids from the hood.
Yeah, street
That
ballers.
Street ballers that's going, if it's snowing on the ground, they'll clear the snow off the court just to play ball. Basketball players is them kids that's sheltered.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? They only playing ball in the court in their driveway.
right.
So then when you actually get in that game where you got to play some kids, some hoopers from the hood, it's gonna look bad just like it did last night.
And historically, this is what we see with Gonzaga players, especially when they get to the next level. They're well-trained basketball players. Like I would never doubt their basketball IQ, their sports acumen. They're very smart players. They're very fundamentally sound. But at the next level, many of them they just can't get with the athleticism, the explosiveness of players that are from other basketball environments and stuff like that. And I think that's what we saw last night. It's the thing. And it's like Baylor being in the Big 12, you're going up against some of the best athletes
Yep.
in the country that are available. And then Big 12 is one of those things too. You might even run into quite a few multi-sports guys.
Yeah.
Like I say that a lot about SEC. They're so dominant in football, but their basketball is starting to improve.
Yeah.
Because they're finally getting guys who are actually really good at both sports.
Right.
Not just a converted tight end that can play a little small forward.
Like a
You know
dunk.
what I mean?
A tight end like a dunk.
Yeah, exactly. So shout out to Baylor, man, for getting their first national title.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, that's big. Gonzaga almost had it,
And
man.
it was very impressive the way they did it.
Let's talk about the women's real quick. The women's tournament. Did you get to watch the final?
I watched the whole Final Four
Okay.
for the women's. I always said that the women's game is more exciting than the men's.
I think it's more even, like a lot more parity.
Yeah.
And it's less volatile. Like
Yeah.
if you have two good teams, you're destined to get a good game.
The women are more skilled
Yeah.
because like with the guys, I might not be that skilled, but I could dunk.
Right.
So my dunking is gonna overshadow everything I got. But with the women, since they can't dunk, everything is fundamental. Proper bounce pass, how to use your right hand, how to use your left hand. Like they just got it.
Yeah.
But all four of them games, the two Final Four games and then the national championship game, all exciting.
Yeah. I thought that South Carolina, they really Dawn Staley has them well coached. It almost looks like the Temple team she played for, and they're tough. They just have tenacity. Like
Yeah.
I love watching her coach and knowing who she was, where she came from, and she was a great college coach while she was playing professional women's basketball.
A lot of people don't
in the
know that.
offseason. Yeah, they don't realize that. Paige Beckers, Player of the Year, she won the award.
First freshman ever.
Yeah, first freshman ever to do it. What do you think went wrong for her in the Final Four, or did her team just not have enough?
I'm not gonna say they didn't have enough. It was just Arizona was playing with house money.
Yeah,
Like you're playing, nobody expect them to be in the Final Four, and you're playing against UConn. So now you could just go out there and play free. UConn had everything to lose. Like one, we're not supposed to lose to Arizona. Two, we're not supposed to lose at all.
yeah,
You know what I mean? So we're coming in here. We supposed to just wipe the floor with everybody. Arizona just played relaxed basketball,
fast and loose, man.
fast
That
and loose. And they won it.
if I know my team is outgunned, I'm gonna always want my players to be loose. I try to do that now in the organized sports that I play. I just tell everybody, I know those guys are good, but stay loose, stay free. Don't let the game overwhelm you, and then just go out there and give them what you got. Give them everything you got. Everything, all of your practice is it's gonna take that to lead up to this moment.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Paige Beckers, I mean, she still did her thing in the game, but Gina Oriema expects that team to be back in that spot next year with some of the kids they got coming in.
Yeah, and UConn's team, I think they were all dominated by freshmen, sophomores, and juniors.
I got you.
Maybe one or two seniors. That's
Okay.
about it.
All right, so they're returning a full roster.
Yeah.
Full of playmakers, and if they get another top freshman, it's
Yeah,
curtains for the rest of the.
I believe
field.
they have two coming in. I think they got number 1 and number 3 coming in.
Yeah, it's probably going to be curtains for the rest of the field next year.
Yeah.
But yeah, shout out to the women's. Shout out to the men's basketball. College basketball is over, and it was good to see it back. Watching the Final Four again, I didn't realize what we missed last year. No, because it was kind of just like, oh, we're canceling the college season.
Yeah.
And you
missed
just
that
kind of moved
excitement.
on.
We missed that excitement.
Right. We missed that. Speaking of what we missed, we're getting a full season of baseball this year.
Mm-hmm.
Baseball is back. Opening day was last Thursday. My Seattle Mariners went 2-1 in their first 3-game set. Tell me how the Yankees are doing.
It's pitching, man.
Yeah.
Pitching and well, we lost was it one? We lost to the Blue Jays
Right.
two out of 3.
Okay.
My big bats they didn't show up.
There you go.
What game 1? Stanton and Judge went like 0 for 10.
Wow. But that's not sustainable. They'll pick it up.
They'll pick it up. But I mean, we in a series with the Orioles. Started last night. We won 7-0.
You should. The
Yeah,
Orioles
it's the
that's
Orioles.
the dark ages,
Yeah,
in Baltimore.
I mean, when you want to ride the ship, play Baltimore.
Right.
But we'll be all right.
Oh, yeah, that's what's up, man. I mean, looking at the rest of the division, have you paid attention to the Red Sox? Have you paid any attention, to
The only team in the AL East that's gonna give us a run is the Blue Jays.
Okay.
Because they took 2 out of 3 from the Yankees.
Yeah.
They won the first game of the series against Oakland. Texas last night. And they're doing this without George Springer. They just got him from the Astros, so he's not even playing yet. So
I'm gonna keep my eye on the Blue Jays, man. Go Blue Jays.
yeah,
For the time being.
they'll give us a run for the money. I like Orioles is not going to do anything.
No.
Red Sox are not going to do anything, and I don't want to count the Rays out, but they don't have no household names, but they always find a way to be there.
It's something about Tampa Bay. It's like I feel like they try to tear the team down, and then it turns out a lot of their prospects are really good. And then they come out with an ace pitcher and a bunch of, guys that hit for average. And then now they're in the playoff race. They're always not in the wild card area of things. And they usually get hot mid-season.
Yeah.
Like the summertime, I don't know if it's people like something's going on down in Tampa where teams can't go out there
Just like
and
Oakland.
just pick up wins. Yeah.
Just like Oakland. Oakland is what, 0-5 right now, but they always start off like this.
Exactly.
And then they go on this crazy run and find a way to get in the wild card.
Exactly. I'm looking at the AL West, and it's hard for me to determine like who's coming because now the Astros look sort of solid first time out, even though people are finally getting a chance to call them cheaters, and they're finally facing hostility from the rest of the fans and the other ballparks and
I
stuff.
love it. Did you see what happened to them last night?
No, I didn't see that.
Fans threw trash cans on the field.
Oh, that's fire.
Yeah.
Oh man, I can't believe I missed that,
Yeah.
man. I gotta check that out, man. The fans do so full size trash cans.
Yeah.
Oh, damn! Just hit my head on the mic. Just had
Yeah.
to make a little adjustment there to the sound.
They threw a full size trash can out. In
So
right
was it
field.
like in the outfield?
Yeah.
Oh wow, wow. Baseball. That's just gonna be something they have to deal with. It's part of the game. You know, they had a very elaborate cheating system. They had buzzers taped to their bodies, and they were beating on trash cans. Guys wearing earpieces like the Secret Service.
That's crazy.
I I get it. The whole like at the professional level because there's money on the line and this is how you feed your family. When guys used to say, if you ain't cheating, you ain't trying.
Right.
I used to kind of understand it, but they took it to the max.
Took it overboard.
Yeah. Yeah. That they did the equivalent of like an NFL team unknowingly putting I don't know, a microphone inside the opposing center's pads.
Right.
You know, that's like, and then yeah, it was crazy like that.
That's like a middle linebacker having the offense's play sheet,
Yeah.
and when they call out a play, he just like looks down at his wristband and be like, "Slant coming."
Right. Right. Yeah.
When you can go up to bat and know exactly what pitch is coming,
that was wild.
that's crazy.
That was wild. Yeah, I definitely rooting against the Astros just because they've been whooping our ass for so long. I've had enough. You know, they're not the team they used to be. And if our young hitters can stay consistent and our pitching can settle down because there are a lot of young pitchers, and then if Paxton can at least be 75% of what he was, that puts us at around a 500-ish record. And then if we can get some relief pitching and some closing going, now we're talking.
Paxton's going tonight for y'all.
Yeah, I'm hoping, man. I'm hoping. He was doing the virtual games toward the end of spring training, and they said he was looking solid. That his velocity came back. So I am very hopeful that Paxton can.
I'm gonna check him out.
Yeah, we're gonna check that out tonight. But it's good that baseball's back. Well, I want to talk about Major League Baseball removing the All-Star game from Atlanta due to the voting rights laws that were passed. I want to know what your thoughts are on baseball moving that. And I think today we found out it was moved to Colorado, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. So what were your thoughts when you saw Major League Baseball take a stand against racism in voting?
I mean, that's I guess it's a step in the right direction.
Yeah.
Up until excuse me, but up until today, I didn't know about the voting laws.
Yeah.
That they did in Atlanta. I saw on the TV that they moved the game, so I was out for lunch and I was trying to figure out why they moved it, but I couldn't actually pull up an article.
Yeah.
But yeah, I still think it's a step in the right direction that they're taking. They took it out of Atlanta. You know what I mean? Maybe that's gonna start opening up some eyes down there. Who knows?
Yeah, that's the thing. So the laws that were passed in Atlanta pretty much made it restrictive for minorities to be able to vote in a lot of areas
Gotcha.
in the state of Georgia, period, not just Atlanta. But the fact that this was going to be the All-Star game that celebrated Hank Aaron in Hank Aaron's hometown, and for Major League Baseball to take that stand, that was crucial.
Yeah.
And this is not a sport that is known as a black sport, even though we've been there since the beginning when you go back to the Negro Leagues.
Yeah.
You know, and then just like you and I, that was the first sport most of us played.
Yeah.
Organized.
Yeah.
You know, that's where you developed your hand-eye coordination. But we're an older generation. This generation now, people that look like us aren't really coming
To play baseball.
to play baseball unless they're coming from overseas, unless they're Cuban defectors or they're coming from Venezuela,
Puerto Rico,
or Puerto Rico.
Any Latin American is dominating baseball right now.
Right.
You know what I mean?
What do you think? So here was my thought, and I want to get your take on it. I think baseball is seeing the AAU basketball explosion. Right now, young minority and urban kids are being thrust into basketball. Straight ahead. Everybody's trying to make their son into the next Steph Curry because they think everyone has it. They think that capability is there for everybody. Even football's kind of taking a back seat at youth levels because everybody wants their kids playing basketball year round. They're just everybody's trying to make the next Kawhi, right? I think this is a good move for baseball. First of all, it's always good to stand on your morals. So I'm not saying they're not genuine or sincere. I think we've now hit a time where corporations, especially that sponsor baseball, would look at them and say, do something.
Right.
Like Delta, especially based out of Atlanta, that employs a lot of minorities, and they do stand for the cause. I'm pretty sure they apply pressure, right? But I think down the line, this is the first step into trying to attract the young black athlete.
Yeah.
Because the athletes are there.
It is. They're there.
It's just a matter of learning the sport at a young age.
And I think a lot of the young black athletes, they look at baseball as like boring.
Yeah.
So, but I tell people, like, I played when I was younger.
You're right.
Watching it, yeah, it's boring. But playing, like when you're actually in the game, it's fun.
Right.
The game moves when you're actually playing. But I get it. Like, I mean, but they're looking at it like it's more exciting in football and basketball.
Well, and one of the things that I've always like theorized about why baseball had so many fans for so long is because it was the sport that everyone played. Our grandfathers grew up playing baseball. There weren't basketball courts everywhere. And not a lot of people played football. It just wasn't a thing for everybody. Or if they did, there wasn't a whole lot of organized football to be played. So you had everyone growing up playing baseball and then becoming fans when they didn't make it. And then there's so many levels to professional baseball. You got not just the majors, AAA, single A, double A. You have other leagues too and other feeder systems along with college that helps helps cultivate the sport and find talent.
Yeah.
I just think they're having problems right now finding top level athletes like they used to have. Because you look at Ken Griffey Jr., Barry Bonds, Ozzie Smith, Ricky Henderson, just the guys we grew up watching. Those are world-class athletes.
Yeah.
They played multiple sports. They participated in those old contests where they would dunk basketballs and throw footballs and stuff. These guys were all-around athletes, and I think that's one of the things that baseball may be missing.
Yeah, they're missing it.
Yeah.
But I think some of these baseball teams, they know, all right, I can't get this young black athlete in my camp. So I'll do one better. I'll go to Dominican Republic and get this 14-year-old.
Yeah.
And then I'll sign him and I'll stash him over there and then get his skills up, develop them, and then bring him along. The kids in the United States, like, they don't want that grind. They'll rather go, I want to go play basketball because this is easy. This is quick.
It's quick.
I can move. Football, this is easy. This is quick. I could, if I'm a supreme athlete, I'm gonna go further than my teammates. In baseball, that grind is real.
Yeah.
You're not just gonna sign and just go straight to the majors. That's not
not at all.
You gotta start off in winter ball. You gotta move. You gotta work your way up.
Spring league.
You gotta work your way up. But some of these kids, they don't want to work.
Yeah, and if you're a Ken Griffey Jr., you're just a prodigy. Yeah, you'll be in AAA for a couple days, and then they'll look at the guy who's there like, you know what's coming.
Yeah.
You're out of here. You're getting assigned to Tacoma. You know what I'm saying?
Griffey, I don't even think he played AAA. Didn't he go from AA straight to the
Yeah,
majors?
I think it was AA. Yeah, I think it was AA straight in. They were like, we're not even gonna waste time. You're the real deal because he was hitting balls out to the highway.
Yes.
Yeah, it was like it's no point.
When he didn't he go to the Kingdom when he was like 15, 16? It was launching him out of there, and it was like, this is gonna be it.
Oh yeah, and that's the thing. But what I say is there is a lot more opportunities to continue your athletic career and to hone your other skills while playing baseball. And with this, I wanted to make this a point on this episode, so for the young black athletes and the people with kids to take note. You and I, we have hand-eye coordination.
Yes.
We're not just guys who play basketball. We're not just guys who play football. We are guys who played everything growing up. I mean, that's not a sport I haven't played and been proficient at, and it all started with baseball.
Yeah.
T-ball. What is the middle level, and then you have the majors of Little League and stuff like that. Learning how to pitch, learning how to hit, learning how to field, learning how to keep your concentration. I mean, what are some of the things you feel like helped you improve in other areas that you got from baseball?
Yeah, hand-eye coordination. Being patient,
Yeah.
because patience is the number one thing in baseball. Like you just can't go up there and think you're gonna hit every pitch because
Not at
you
all.
don't know what pitch is coming.
Nope.
And I think I had a like I was more advanced than some my age because like my grandfather was a coach.
Right.
So baseball was the first sport and only sport I was allowed to play. I had to sneak to play other sports.
Right.
So and I never actually played T-ball. So my first year playing, I was facing pitching.
Oh.
He like my grandpa's never had me playing with my age group. I always played up. So when my age group was playing T-ball, I was playing minors.
Right.
So just being patient, hand-eye coordination, and people don't know like footwork is real important in baseball.
It's extremely important.
It's important. They just think you got to work on footwork for football and basketball. Like no, if you don't know how to crow hop for the outfield,
Yeah.
you gonna throw your arm out.
Yeah. And the ill thing is I tell people I couldn't hit a beach ball, but I could field.
Right.
You're not getting that ball through second and short, and even some third when I had to fill in, and that was up into my brief stint in high school. I could field, I just couldn't hit. I couldn't figure it out. I don't know what it is. I just sucked at that one thing. But when it came to fielding, I told you that was one of the things. Like I never had to do as a little kid. I thought people were like, I looked at them like, damn, y'all can't just scoop it with your glove and then turn, pat it, and then send that thing to first. I was doing that in T-ball.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then I developed like a mean sidearm. And it was just crazy. I could rocket that thing.
Yeah, it's that's important when you playing middle infield or in the infield
Yeah.
period. You got to throw sidearm.
Yeah.
You got to throw sidearm.
Yeah, and it was just something that came natural. It was like I could see guys on TV do it, then I just went out there and did it.
Yeah.
And I remember the coaches being mad when I was in like T-ball in the minors, like, Chris, use two hands. You're going to miss it one day. No, I'm not.
No, I'm not.
And then if I do miss it, I'll just get better at it. You know what I mean? But I'm going to put that glove on the dirt, scoop it up, and we're going to let it happen.
I played when I was in high school. I had one teammate. I'm not going to name any names. That said I was hot dogging it in center field.
Oh, yeah,
I'm not
yeah,
gonna
yeah.
name any names.
I didn't think you had to do what you did. I didn't think you had to do what you did. That's all I'm saying, man. That's all I'm saying.
But you and the rest of the team knew when it was hit the center field, just walk off the field. I got
Oh,
it.
yeah. You tracking that.
I got it.
Yeah, 2 outs. That thing, it's going out the center. Dave got it.
I
He
got
tracking
it.
it. We had some speed out there.
Yeah.
That was a nice little team. If we would all stay together and they would have put some, I don't know, some money or some effort behind cultivating the baseball program. That would have been dope, man.
Yeah.
But this is what I think the MLB, one of their motivations behind this is. I do think they're genuine. I like them taking that stance, and they are gonna honor Hank Aaron in the park where the most home runs are hit.
Good.
Yeah.
Can you imagine this home run derby at course?
Oh man, it's gonna get crazy. It's gonna get crazy, man. It's gonna get crazy, and they gotta bring. I really think they need to emphasize the game's best power hitters and make sure that they're in the home run derby and make sure that it's the most epic home run derby ever.
Don't make it like the dunk contest.
No, not at all.
No,
Not at all.
Don't rush it. Like just get the Aaron Judges, get the Mike Trouts, get them in there.
Get the right guys in there.
Yeah.
I'm really, I really want to see a slight rule change. I don't know what it is, but they need to make, I guess, higher stakes in the home run derby too. Like, I don't know what it is. The same, like, what's that rule in the TBT basketball tournament where they use an NBA All-Star game?
Elam ending.
Elam ending, right? I don't know what the equivalent of that would be for the home run derby, but I want to see them kind of change the dynamic of the home run derby, just make it a little more exciting. So I don't know what that would be, but maybe drive some more fan interaction. Maybe say, hey, we got to add a target function. Like, hey, you got to hit it to right center, or you get more points for hitting it here,
or like you get more points by if you hit it 450 plus. You get more points.
Right? Yeah. I want to see something. But Coors, this is the perfect year when you're honoring Hammer and Hank, the true home run champion. When you're honoring Hammer and Hank to just make it the best home run derby and the best all-star game you possibly can be, especially with the circumstances.
Yeah.
And it's in the message to racist politicians who want to do things that stop minorities from voting.
Yeah.
You know, like that. Yeah, that's wild. Real quick before we move on, Jose Canseco has a series going on Vlad TV. I mean, he's not the most likable guy, but his storytelling is great. In his journey from high school to the minors, I mean, he admits to everything. Of course, we already know.
Yeah, we
He
know
talks
everything.
about the steroids, but he gives you a lot of detail on the difference between the grind of baseball. Like how we're talking about the grind that kids don't want.
Yeah.
He was like, man, down in the minors, he was talking about how they had to buy their own batting gloves and they were playing with cracked bats that they had to hold together with nails. And he was like, he was so excited when he got to the majors because he saw how much more luxurious it was. He said, man, I got to the majors. My locker had 3 dozen bats and I had about 2 dozen pairs of gloves. I had fresh cleats. He was like, you know, a lot of people don't realize what it takes to get through all of that, even though he did it the dirty way. You know what I mean? And he had a very interesting perspective. He says that he and Mark McGwire could have broken the single season home run record several times had they not played in the old Oakland Alameda Coliseum.
I believe it. That's a big stadium.
It was a big stadium, and he said the balls just didn't fly the same in the air given where the stadium was located.
Yeah.
But he was like, him and Mark were going up to Seattle. He's like, they were going up to Seattle, and he was like, they were hitting line drives that were going out. What I didn't like is he tried to attribute that to Griffey's power hitting. And I'm like, Griffey hit him everywhere.
Everywhere.
Yeah. Let's not be fooled. Okay, his home base was Seattle, but he hit so many that he was hitting them everywhere.
Isn't Griffey the only player to hit the warehouse in Baltimore?
Yeah.
His power traveled.
Yeah, exactly. He tried to kind of say like, yeah, Griffey and those guys up there and A-Rod, they were living kind of because it was easy. He was like, if I played in this stadium, I would have hit 100 home runs. I was like, that's ridiculous because you weren't a good hitter for average.
No.
So let's stop the madness right here.
Right.
Mark was just above that line where you could say, oh, he's a solid hitter.
Yeah.
But you guys weren't Barry Bonds.
No.
You weren't Don Mattingly. You weren't in that level.
No.
All right. So don't act like you were this great.
Especially not pure hitting wise.
Right. You weren't Tony Gwynn.
No.
You know, you were when it come to pure hitting, you weren't even Cal Ripken.
No.
You definitely weren't Edgar Martinez. So let's get it all out of there.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You were like Albert Bell. I'll give you that. You had some years. That's it. You know, so it was, but it's an interesting series, and I'm gonna keep watching it. Vlad keeps putting them out like 3-4 minutes at a time, or 6-9 minutes.
Might have to check it out.
Yeah. Start from part 1. He talks about his life, and he talks about what steroids did for him and things like that. And just he really gives you a good like layout of his grind and how he got to the majors.
I mean, I give it some steroids for that era and those guys that did it. Steroids made them a lot of money.
Made him a lot of money. I don't think people realize too, and it just immortalized them too,
Yeah.
because they did it for the entirety of like a whole generation watching them. For the entire time we were kids, they were doing it dirty.
Yeah.
All the way up until we were like toward the end of high school, and then we're like, damn, what did we just watch?
I mean,
who was clean?
Pitchers did it too.
Yeah.
And then that's why I respect Griffey, because he did it the right way.
He's only person I'll say is I'll always respect Barry, because he's the only player I'll ever say was as good without steroids as Ken Griffey.
Yeah.
He didn't need to do it.
No, he was a Hall of Famer in Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
And I think my take on, all right, Barry never was caught doing it, but
he wasn't. Yeah.
We
Barry's man on some street shit held it down.
What?
Greg Anderson sat down for
Shout
that.
out to Greg Anderson.
Yo,
man.
if you're doing anything wrong in life and you need somebody to hold you down, get Greg Anderson on speed dial.
But I think Barry did it because McGwire and Sosa was getting so much publicity from that home run chase.
Yeah.
And Barry was sitting back, was like, I'm better than both of them, which he was.
And he was.
And he was like, I'm better than both of them, and they're not talking about me.
And Barry was a better all-around baseball player
Yes.
than them. But it wasn't about all-around baseball at that time.
Yes.
It was about,
Home runs.
Sammy Sosa, Mark McGwire, Big Cat Galarraga, Larry Walker.
And Griffey was in that run, but Griffey, since he was doing it clean, he couldn't keep pace with them.
In September, Griffey would fade because he was
tailed off.
tired. Yeah, he would tailed off. And, that was interesting to see. Like, in being real sports fans at that time. And then once the steroid stuff came out, you knew what was going on.
Because at one point during that, I think ESPN had the 30 for 30 for it.
Yeah.
And at one point, Griffey was ahead of the pace of both of them.
He was.
And then he just started tailing off as the season got going. And
Right.
They got stronger.
I mean, McGuire, that year he hit 73. He had a monstrous September. And for any sports fans out there that, not really that familiar with baseball, in September, even the greatest players are going to struggle, because you've already gotten through the dog days of summer, and that's where they dominate the guys that aren't so great. But in September, everybody's tired, and they're
cold.
laboring, and it's cold. The
Balls
weather's
don't
changing.
fly out.
Nope.
So when you hitting home runs in September, like you really got to put your all into it.
Right.
And in the summertime, like where most of the stadiums the ball flies, if you just hit it in the right spot, it's going.
Yeah, September is really a time for power hitters to get their average up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because now you're trying to hit for contact, and because your team is most likely trying to win games and trying to get a playoff spot, so that every at bat is that much more crucial. Mm-hmm. You're not so freely stepping up to the plate. The pressure is on, and it was amazing hearing him talk. 100 home runs, I think, is ridiculous.
Yeah,
that was like crazy. He was like, man, me and McGuire could have hit 70 multiple times, possibly. Could one of them broken it? If anybody, would have been McGuire because he was the better hitter. Yeah. He was just a better swinger of the bat.
Yeah.
Jose Canseco, after the Bash Brothers, wasn't worth anything in baseball anymore.
He's only known for the ball bouncing off his head, going over for a home run.
Exactly. He was just a big brute, man. That was it. Yeah. He was as a club bouncer out there playing outfield.
I'm stronger than you. I'm just going to swing as hard as I can. If I miss it, I miss it.
Right. But that was dope. I encourage everybody out there, if you're listening, just go check out DJ Vlad's Jose Canseco interview. The next topic we want to talk about, and I think this needs to be spoken on because we might have somebody listening who's dealing with kids or dealing with or has basketball aspirations. It might be a young person out there. Mm-hmm. And I think this is a good thing to discuss. Kevin Durant, Michael Rappaport.
Yeah.
First of all, I'm seeing two arguments. One is KD's got thin skin. He's got to stop entertaining all of this stuff and leave the social media alone. Yeah. The other side I'm hearing is, while that may be true, Michael Rappaport shouldn't release threatening messages from KD.
No.
What are your thoughts?
Just like you said, man, like if you were, I think he knew what he was doing by releasing them text messages or them DMs. He knew what he was doing. I think it's corny that he wanted to release him to the public like that to shine like some bad negativity on KD.
Yeah.
But on the other end, KD has to stop responding to everybody. Like a lot of movie stars, a lot of athletes, we all follow them. We all say what we want to say, but they don't respond. KD is the one guy that 9 times out of 10 you can get him to respond. If you say something disrespectful to him, he's gonna respond.
And from burner accounts, which I think that was probably one of the most ridiculous things I ever heard. The only other person to ever do burner accounts was Brian Colangelo when he was basically releasing confidential information and trashing the players on the team he was working for.
Right.
That was wild.
Yeah.
But I just feel like KD has the ears. He has supersonic hearing. Like
he got rabbit ears.
Dog. Yeah. He just hears every single thing. Mm-hmm. And going at Michael Rappaport's wife, telling him he's going to spit on him and slap him when they see him. Who are you? You're Kevin Durant. You're an NBA player. You're not about to slap anybody.
No.
And if I'm Michael Rappaport, I don't release those to the public. I maybe state, if I want to get my point out there, like, yo, this dude is wild and in my DMs right now.
Yeah.
And I'll leave it up to the imagination, everybody, but I will give them a warning, like, yo, don't disrespect my family.
Right.
But even with that being said, KD, you have to be in control of your emotions. Because at the end of the day, it's emotions. And this is what nobody wants to talk about. Mm-hmm. As much crap people talk about Kyrie, including me, I'm one of the people on the internet railing on Kyrie all the time because I don't care for a lot of the things he does, and I don't think, I think a lot of the stuff he says and does is misguided. Kyrie doesn't respond that way.
Right, no.
He doesn't deal with people in that manner. Mm-mm. And he does conduct himself decently when he's out and about. So I can't really knock him for that as a human. It's just that in the basketball verse, criticism comes along with the territory. You're making $45-50 million a year. And you're doing it for fans. Fan is short for fanatic. People are fanatical about their sport. They're fanatical about how they feel, about everything that has to do with their sport. They're not talking about your personal life. They're not saying your bedroom set is whack. They're not saying your cars are whack or your family is this. They're talking about everything you do in the public eye.
Yeah, and that's the whole thing about social media. Like it's given us a whole different way of interacting with our favorite athletes, favorite teams, or whatever.
Right.
So
Direct access to people you couldn't access before.
right. So when we're watching a game, and we all do it. We're watching the game live as it's happening, and then we're on Facebook or on Twitter or whatever. Oh, this guy he stinks, or yada yada yada. Like now we have the opportunity to at you, so now you can see everything we're saying, and most guys just brush it under the rug.
They do.
KD is one of them guys that's gonna be like, oh, I'm gonna go right back at you. You need to be focusing on film for the next team, not going on Twitter and going back and forth with somebody.
You're not even playing right now. And I understand he hasn't been playing, but because you're not playing, you're seeking out beef on the internet. That's crazy to me. For you to be so successful in life and all these things you say to guys like Stephen A. and Charles Barkley, for one thing, they handle the criticism a lot better than you do.
Yeah.
You know, they handle it like grown men. And I know KD's still a young person, fairly. He's 31, 32 years old, whatever. You still got to exercise some sort of restraint and remember what your position is and that you are the leader of that franchise.
Yeah.
You know, for better or worse. And, you know, those guys are out there putting it in without you even being there. The last thing they need, like, is a distraction from an organizational standpoint. If I'm a GM, I'm like, instead of our guys getting their confidence lifted because they're playing so well in your absence, they now have to answer questions about why you're on Twitter threatening Michael Rappaport of all people.
Right.
So this is where I think for anybody who wants to do anything in a public eye, this comes with the territory. You choose. You pay for the internet access that you're using to read these comments and stuff. Turn your phone off or block that person. I saw Cameron say something that was crazy, but then I was like, hey, I get it. He said he has over 200,000 people blocked on social media. He was like, yo, I'll put you on block. Like, that's it. I'm not going to sit there and go back and forth with you all day.
No need.
I understand going at it with sports writers and stuff.
Yeah.
Because they can be a bit unfair, especially when you feel like they should have a better perspective given that they are insiders compared to people on the outside. Like Russell Westbrook last week when Stephen A. said the conversation about Russell Westbrook is not about basketball anymore. It's about him being on a championship team and why can't he be a part of something championship worthy? Russell Westbrook says he retreats to that corner that Richard Sherman, like, oh, I'm good at life. I came from nothing. I made it. And Stephen A. is right. When can I talk basketball? You know, what do you think about that?
I mean, the criticism for Westbrook is fair.
Super fair.
It's fair. Like, how much help do he needs? Like, he was in OKC, couldn't get it done with KD and Harden. Yeah, they were super young, but couldn't get it done. And then go to Houston with Harden in a team that's set to be a contender.
Right.
Couldn't get it done.
Uh-huh.
And then now you get moved to Washington, and then before the season, they're saying you and Westbrook and Bill is the best backcourt.
Right.
And y'all at the bottom of the East, damn near.
They're playing better basketball as of late.
Yeah.
They are. They're coming around, but they lost Thomas Bryant. But even the way that roster is constructed, they don't have a chance.
No.
Yeah, not in the East. Not right now.
No.
But everything you just said is spot on. You know, at some point, when is your presence going to elevate a team beyond their current status? Because they could have been that bad without you.
Without you.
Yeah. But you come there and you just make them not even markedly better.
No,
you just make them competitive
before the
from night to
season
night.
when he got there, they gave Washington expectations that they never really had since Gilbert Arenas.
Right.
And then once the game started to get live, now it's like this is the same
Same
thing
old
year.
Washington.
This
Yep.
is same. This is John Wall, but older.
Right.
This is older
Right.
John Wall.
I think he's slightly better than John Wall.
Yeah,
Though.
he's better than John Wall,
Yeah.
but the one thing that I will never knock about Westbrook is he plays one speed. And he
100
goes
miles an hour.
100 miles an hour every night. And that's what you tell your kids. When you get on this court, give me 110%.
Right.
And he gives 130.
Even with the knee surgeries, all of the injuries he's had over the years, Westbrook plays through
He
it.
plays hard.
And he still plays on the ball defense.
Yes.
You can ask Westbrook right now to full court press, and he's going to do it.
Gonna do it.
He's going to do it. Like, and to be at this stage of his career, though, I didn't like, though, that he goes back at Stephen A. with, I came from nothing. I got money. I'm generationally wealthy. I'm set. I mean, that's not relevant to what we're talking about. And I think sometimes this generation can be thin-skinned. Mm-hmm. And if we're talking to anybody that's young out there that's listening, you got to understand sometimes you need to take things as a challenge.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it goes back to everything everybody says is not an insult. Sometimes it's a challenge. Yeah. Prove somebody wrong. If this is what you want to do and this is what you want to tell people you're about, you want people to think you're the GOAT, then go do some GOAT stuff.
Yeah. Another thing that I want to tell all these kids that's watching, listening, be coachable.
Right.
Be coachable. Like, you never want to get that label as this kid is uncoachable. Because once you get that label on you, nobody wants you.
Or like, I'm one of those people that John Wall is one of the guys that, like, and Russell Westbrook, I'm not going to say he falls in that category because he plays a much more sensible brand of basketball than John Wall. But one of the things with John Wall was, I feel like these guys wait till late in their careers to start rounding out their game. They wait real late to start including other guys, and they try to do it the Gilbert Arenas way or what they thought the Iverson way was. And, you know, they end up at the end of their careers, and then they get upset when they're not being treated the way they feel like they should.
Mm-hmm.
And that's one of the things that, like, for those kids, it's like always be working, always be trying to improve. LeBron, for all the criticisms in the world, he's not going back and forth with people on social media. Absolutely. There's not a more criticized athlete I've ever seen than LeBron. Mm-hmm. To me, 90% of it is fair.
Yeah.
But, you know, there's not a guy that's criticized more than him, but he is constantly working on his game. That outside shot that he shoots, that weird half step back thing he does, it works because it's something he worked on. He figured out, like, hey, I'm not able to do a lot of things other people do, but I'm going to maintain my effectiveness by sharpening my toolbox.
Yeah. Yeah, this is my weakness. I'm going to work on this and make it not my weakness.
Yo. And that's always been my advice to kids. Like, yeah, okay, you can shoot a three. Now let me see you break down the defense and find the open shooter.
That's why I always, when we used to have open gym at JFK,
yeah,
I will always tell them kids that's coming back from college or in high school that's playing, I will always say, work on your weakness in here.
Right.
This is you got to use this to work on your weakness. So if my weakness is going left, I need to, while I'm in this setting with no pressure, I need to work on, forget wins and losses in open gym.
Yeah, exactly.
Work on your left.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Work on something.
I always, and a lot of young people that when they're frustrated because I've taken away the one thing they can do, I'll whisper to them mid-game, like, yo, stop doing that. Take another dribble. Maybe shorten up your dribble. You're giving me too much. I'm reaching right in and taking it from you,
yeah,
or
I do that
making
a lot
it hard. Yeah, I'll just be like, yo, shorten up your dribble. You know what I mean? Don't try to load up so hard and come into me. Right. It's not going to work. And, you know, you're 17. There's going to be people much stronger and much bigger than me that you're not going to be able to do that to either. Mm-hmm. So, you know, that's basketball is one of those sports, and it goes kind of back to the conversation in a much larger conversation I want to have one day about this AAU prep school year-round basketball culture. A lot of people I don't feel like are getting proper basketball training.
No.
And they're discounting, all right, talent has to come into play at some point.
Yeah.
I don't care how much practice I had, I was never going to be a professional basketball player.
Right.
The ceiling, D2 max. You know what I mean? If I devoted my life to that and I had all the coaches and all the sports scientists around and all the trainings and all the camps, there was only going to be so much I could do.
Right.
One of the things I see with a lot of these kids is they develop that one thing that they can see on TV and they think, I'm great because I can shoot from the logo. I can pull up from the white line in the LA Fitness. I'm the man now. I don't have to work on anything else. And they don't want to believe when an older person is talking to them like, hey, that's not new. It's just not necessary.
Right.
You know what I mean? Yeah, oh, yeah, you made 3 long 3-pointers, but your team lost by 10.
Right.
Had you been applying pressure on the defense, making us work a little bit more, y'all probably could have won, and you could have been much more dominant.
I hate that when kids playing basketball and then at the end of the game, the first thing they do is go to the scores table and see how many points they had.
Oh, that's the worst. What my stats looking like?
Bro, you just lost by 30, and you're over here looking in the book.
Exactly. I don't want to know what's in the book.
No.
I used to hate it, right? Because when I was playing youth basketball, I was in this little side league or whatever with a couple of guys, and I had a team where it was like a broad age range. So I was like the oldest, best kid on the team. Mm-hmm. So it was kind of my job to help them get better. I wasn't there to dominate,
right?
But it's just like other kids my age before they hit the growth spurt or whatever. Well, we were all little together, but there were even smaller kids. And I had to take a lot of losses because I was passing the ball to people that couldn't make the shots.
Mm-hmm.
And that was one of the most frustrating things to me because I like to win. I love to pass, but I love to win also while passing. But I learned a couple games in, and that season was kind of long too. That league was wild. But I learned, there's a bigger purpose here. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? It was like around the time when I was kind of training with Pops and doing this traveling team thing. I learned, there is some gratification in watching someone else get better because I'm better.
Right.
And that's what a lot of people don't see. Mm-mm. Everything somebody does doesn't show up on the stat sheet.
Right.
And to this day, you can't even explain that to grown men. Mm-mm. So I want to tell kids, don't be those grown men. Because that's what, you know what? You're going to be those grown men if you're not able to get that now through your head. Mm-hmm. You can score all the points in the world, but if you can't stop nobody and you can't run an offense, you're not going to, no one's going to deal with you.
Absolutely not. Like, every team needs a guy to do the dirty work.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, when we were on youth team together.
Yeah.
You did the dirty work.
Listen, I tell people, if I got to score 25 points, we're probably going to lose. Right. Unless someone else is scoring 35 and I'm eating off of the fact that they're eating.
Right.
That's the only way it's ever going to happen. But when I know I got scores, I have no problem deferring.
Absolutely.
I got a game tonight. I have no problem deferring.
Right. Yeah.
I know these guys, but once I see what you're coming with, give me a quarter and a half or the first half of the first half. Give me that. And I'll know. I want to find who the guys that are going to eat because I want to go make sure we're not giving up free rebounds. We're not diving for loose balls. We're not giving up easy layups. Put me on the guard.
Everybody thinks the only way that you can be effective in basketball is by scoring the most points.
Shooting the three. That's what the kids think. Oh, yeah. Look at I can shoot the three. Yeah, but you can't stop nobody. Mm-mm. Everyone drives around you and scores.
You can. They don't want to have that conversation to where you can impact a game by not scoring a point.
It's crazy. It was funny because in the league, I would always see my assists, rebounds, steals, shit like that. Nobody counts that. No one cares. I got 10 points, but I got 5 boards. Mm-hmm. Yo, I'm 5'7". Why do I have 5 boards? That's because that 6'5" guy, I started boxing him out halfway down the paint off the miss. He can't run through my body, unless the miss it favors him. I'm going to get that rebound, and that's another possession that we have.
If he run through my body, it's a foul. We get the ball.
Exactly, and that's one of the things. Like, kids got to not be frustrated with the game of basketball. There's hundreds of possessions in a game. Mm-hmm. One mistake, get back. Don't point the finger. Don't just blame people. Now, you're going to get frustrated if somebody wilds out, but that's also part of the game too. Mm-hmm. Kids got to understand, man, have patience. Have that patience we were talking about that you get in Little League. Like, yo, we're getting smacked around right now, but you know what? Their pitcher's arm's going to get tired, and then we'll be able to make our move.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
Or maybe it's time for me to turn a double play.
Right.
Make a play.
Yeah.
There's no other sport like baseball where you got to make a play.
Yeah. We're down. We're down 2. Let me bunt. Let me get on.
That's what I used to do. I couldn't hit, but I could lay down a bunt and boogie down the first baseline and slide in the first or dive in the first. You know what I mean? I could do that. Or I could hit a little chopper and get my ass down to first base.
Let me get this bunt. Let me steal second. A wild pitch might get me to third.
Right.
We just manufactured a run.
Right. Or let me crowd the plate.
Yeah,
maybe get hit.
Yeah.
Step into one.
Yeah, Roger Dorn.
Yeah. I did that in high school. I stepped into one, and I got taken out the game because that dude hit me on purpose. He was like, yo, this bullshit. He's crowding the plate, and he's crouching. But that was to get somebody on base.
Yo,
so the runner comes in.
Wasn't that the Morristown game?
Morristown game. Oh, no, it might have been Northern Burlington.
We were home.
And I thought it was away.
I think what we had.
I thought that was an away game.
Were we 11 doing that?
I did it at 11 too. I did it multiple times because I used to crouch down real low, and I didn't have a strike zone, so they would just throw at me, and then it was like, hey, I bat 200, like, you know what I'm saying? And my on base percentage is crazy, but I bat 200, and that was the thing. It's like, yo, like making a play, like, yo, sometimes making a play doesn't always, take the form that you think it's going to take. And then when you get to the point where you're getting scouted, scouts see this stuff. Funny thing is, everybody says, oh, yeah, I'm going to go to the NBA. I'm going to dominate. I'm going to do all this. I'm going to be flashy. They don't understand. You get picked apart for every little thing you do in the NBA.
Everything.
Every possession is documented and marked by computers and technology. Even if you happen to go to one of the major conferences, they have that NBA technology too. You're being judged by formulas that were made up by guys who put people in the space.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like,
every arena, there's cameras everywhere.
they track the efficiency of your movement when you don't have the ball.
Yes.
This is how they told Steph Curry and Klay Thompson how to maximize getting open without the ball. And then in turn, you start coaching the other guys on the team how to free those guys up with screens away from the ball. They've learned this. There's so much more that goes into the game. And being able to think sports through, I think, is something that's lost on a lot of people with talent. Because talent's only going to take you so far.
Yeah.
One of the players, I'll say this, I can't stand him. Draymond Green is a hard worker because he is not a highly talented basketball player.
No.
Neither was Kendrick Perkins, but he was big and he was willing to work hard. He kept himself in shape and stayed out of trouble. So, and then he had a career. Now he has a job on ESPN telling other people how to work hard.
Yeah, when we dive deep into the whole AAU thing, we need to have B-Mac and Walt.
We got to have B-Mac and Walt here. Then we're going to do an AAU episode. I think that's going to be really important.
Yeah.
Because B-Mac says some things to me that are troubling, and that's why I don't have children, but if I had a son and, he just happened to start sprouting up like, hey, you're going to be 6'5". All right, and this is what you want to do. I'm not so sure that that's the best route.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But we'll get to all that. I really want to touch on this too. Drew Holiday's contract, man. 4 years, $160 million. He's 31 years old. Dave, talk to me. What do you think about Drew Holiday signing that extension with the Bucks?
I think Milwaukee is trying to do everything they can do for Giannis.
To keep him happy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because to me, long term, trying to get over that hump, Drew Holiday is not the guy you want to be giving $40 million to a year.
No, I don't think he's that guy that, again, like touching on that whole piece. Like, I don't think he's the missing piece.
No.
To get them a championship.
And that's missing piece money.
Yes, because Drew Holiday is not going to get them over the Sixers.
No.
They're not going to get them over
the Nets.
They'll get them over everybody else in the East.
Right.
Maybe. If Miami can click it together, I think Miami's a better team than Milwaukee.
I just got news. Miami signed Dwayne Dedman, so they have depth now.
Okay.
Another big. Yeah.
Another big.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's it. That's another big body to throw it to clog the paint for Giannis.
Right.
So now when you clog the paint for Giannis, especially it's proven in the playoffs. Like once you pack the paint in against Milwaukee, they're dead.
Yeah, they're dead in the water. And this is where I was saying, I got into the discussion with Tafiq. I said, yo, all right, I like Drew Holiday. I've always liked him as a Sixer. I think he is one of the hardest working players in the NBA. But on the same token, for what he does, it doesn't put you over the top. Well, he's like, oh, but he can score. But can he score 25, 30? No. You're not going to get that on a consistent clip from him.
Right.
He's a 16, 17 point a game guy, maybe 6 assists, 2 or 3 steals,
Play
you
some
know, which is
defense.
good. Yeah, he's going to grab some rebounds. He's in there to play defense. He's in there to lock up and hustle.
Mm-hmm.
And he's also above 30. And I hate it because 2 years from now, they're going to call that a bad contract because it will be.
Mm-hmm.
He's going to diminish. He'll be 31. No, he'll be 32 this year. That contract doesn't kick in until next year.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to, take him till he's 35, almost 36.
Mm-hmm.
I just think that's going to be one of those things where it's only a temporary fix for Giannis. They're going to have to make a bold move, and Giannis is going to have to get a jump shot now.
But what else can they do after he signed that Supermax? Like, can they get someone to Milwaukee?
That's the other portion of it. The finances. To spend $40 million a year on Drew Holiday, and that contract hasn't even started yet. If you gave it to him for 2 years, $80 million, I'm okay with that. It's a short term. Drew Holiday, we're cashing you out. And if it doesn't work out, a year and a half from now, we'll trade you somebody else and then go get a bag from them. But to give him 4 years and in the NBA where it's fully guaranteed, I just think, like you said, what else can Milwaukee do? Because they don't seem like they want to let go of Chris Middleton.
No.
You can't let Middleton go because Giannis still can't shoot.
Right.
I think if Giannis could shoot, Middleton can go.
I think that's why Brook Lopez still has a job with them, because even though he's not like a top tier shooting big,
Yeah,
he can hit threes.
he can.
So
yeah.
they just need him spacing the floor for Giannis to get to the basket. That's why they picked up PJ Tucker.
Yeah.
PJ Tucker could stand in the corner, bring a big man out with him because that's his shot. He can shoot the corner three.
Yeah.
So when you bring the big man out, that's more room for Giannis to get to the basket.
That was a big pickup for them. But it's still one of those pickups where you're looking at the landscape of the East. Is it enough?
And it doesn't move the needle.
And then here's what I'm going to say. Looking ahead to next year, say the Chicago Bulls land another solid piece.
Mm-hmm.
You're now right there.
Yeah.
With Zach LaVine, Vucevic, and possibly whoever decides to come, they're now in that same discussion in the ballpark of Milwaukee. Because to me and to everyone else out there, it's Brooklyn and Philly and then the rest of the field.
Yeah, everybody
right?
else.
And right now, I think the Bucks are slightly better than the Celtics.
Yeah.
Because we know if the Celtics can get hot and figure it out, they'll be a dangerous team, but they're still not messing with Brooklyn and Philly right now.
No.
So that was a curious contract, man. They're still around that Miami. They're above Miami Heat. They're a distant third. That's what I'll say. In the East, they're a distant third.
And if some people like you will have them over Miami, it's not by much.
Yeah, exactly. It's a shade over Miami.
Yeah.
I will give it to him because Drew Holiday, Jimmy Butler can't. Drew Holiday can mitigate any scoring output that Jimmy Butler can give, and then it's going to come down. It's going to be a gritty series. That'll probably be one of the best series we'll watch if that's like a 3-6 or a 4-5. Yeah, that'll be amazing. Atlanta Hawks have gotten to the 4 seed.
Yeah, because they started the second half of the season playing like nobody.
Hey, man, you be who's in front of you, man. Shout out. You be who's in front of you, man.
Yeah.
You know, there's no paper champions.
That was the same thing we spoke about with the Lakers when they came out of the All-Star break. They played Golden State and a bunch of nobodies, and they went on that run. And
now they're the punching bag of the West.
Yeah.
Without LeBron and AD.
Yeah.
The Andre Drummond thing, it's not. It just aesthetically, it just doesn't look good. I'm like, I don't see this working out. You already got Montrezl Harrell, but they did pick up Ben McLemore today.
I just seen that.
I saw that. So they have another shooter, and he's not the dead-eye shooter that I think he gets the reputation for being, but we'll see.
Right. So now it's interesting to see, since they picked up Ben McLemore, who in the rotation, who spot does he take?
I don't know where his minutes come from because I'm still trying to figure out where Drummond's minutes are going to come from. I mean, I guess you're taking Gasol's minutes, but You know, is it that much better?
So you have Macklemore, and then you have KCP,
But you still got like
Caruso,
Caruso,
Schroeder.
yeah,
Like where, and then LA is like so hell bent on playing Horton Tucker.
yeah.
Like where is Ben McLemore's gonna where's he gonna find minutes?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure. They may be hoping that he can take someone's spot because you still got Kuz, out there basically.
Kuz he has not developed.
Not at all, and he's got the Bart Simpson hair.
Yeah, he has
Yeah.
not developed. Like this was his time to show. Like with LeBron and AD out, this was his time to show. Like this is what I can do.
Yeah,
This is why you kept me over Brandon Ingram.
yeah.
Like, and he's not doing
I knew that was a mistake from the beginning. I was just waiting for Lakers fans to see it too.
Did you see Clippers sign DeMarcus Cousins?
The Clippers signed DeMarcus Cousins.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. That just happened today.
I think yesterday.
Yesterday. Late. Oh, wow. Zubac has been playing well. So the question was posed to me last week by a Sixers fan. What do you think about DeMarcus Cousins? And I think he's shot as a player. I just think he's shot. I think his effectiveness is gone with his injuries. I just don't see him being 50% of what he was.
I think going to the Clippers might help him because he doesn't have to go in there and be the man.
Yeah.
Now I'm DeMarcus Cousins, the role player.
You know what I want to see DeMarcus Cousins get a consistent mid-range high post jumper.
Yeah.
Play, run a lot of that stuff to pivot the offense off him at the high post and get some stuff going when LeBron's not on the floor.
But I think they picked up Cousins to go against the Lakers because since they signed Drummond.
I'm sorry. I said LeBron. I'm sorry. Cousins is on the Clippers.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. I don't know why.
I think the Clippers signed him because all right, this is a counter to Lakers getting Drummond. We needed another big body.
Well, I meant to say when Kawhi's not on the floor because there's not a lot of explosiveness on that Clippers team.
No.
There's a lot of good players, and you got two great players, but where's your speed coming from and things like that? He's kind of clunky as a big man, which is why I want to see them maybe when he's on the court with Man and the shooters that they have coming off the bench. Maybe when he's on the court with those guys, he can operate a lot from the high post, find a jump shot that he can knock down. Mm-hmm. Do a lot of the things Gasol did in Toronto. Get your bench minutes.
Yeah.
But I don't see him playing well.
Hit that straight on three.
Yeah, hit that straight on three. Like the mid-range is there. He just has to be able to do it.
I think it might be good because we all know playoff time, the game slows down.
Right.
So it's a half-court game. And I think he could be effective at the high post or down on the block, not to where he was in Sacramento, but I think he still could be somewhat effective with the Clippers because, like I said, like we're not gonna run our offense through you. You're gonna get scrap buckets,
right? And it's gonna be up to you to do some distributing to the guards as a big man.
Yes,
we're gonna have guys running around you, and it's gonna be dribble handoff time, or you're gonna be dropping that ball down over the defense to some of your scorers and your slashers.
Because I also think like let's say we get a Clippers-Lakers playoff series.
Yeah,
you need Cousins because when the Clippers go, when the Lakers go, okay, we're gonna put LeBron, Drummond, and AD in the game at the same time. The Lakers could come. The Clippers could come back with Zubac, Cousins, and then you can still keep Kawhi on LeBron.
Can Cousins guard AD though? Because I don't think. Zubac can guard AD.
No, but it's not the fact that he can guard him or not. It's just going big for big.
Because going big for big.
If you don't go big for big, you're gonna get killed on the rebounds.
Well, but I think for the Clippers, they're gonna have to stagger their lineups.
Yeah.
First of all, they're gonna have to get to the point where they play the Lakers. Yeah. You know what I mean? Because the West is looking crazy right now. Aaron Gordon's showing returns for Denver right now. Portland's starting to heat up a little bit. They got their guys coming back, and Phoenix is still rolling.
Yeah.
Picture them rolling, man. Chris Paul, the quietest MVP caliber player, all he does is get you to the playoffs.
2 years in a row.
All he does is get you to the top half of the West, no matter what your franchise was doing. That is amazing.
I still think in a 7-game series, Phoenix and Utah won't be able to beat the Lakers or Clippers.
No. And that the problem is, I've already said it with Utah. Rudy Gobert is just not enough of an offensive force to help Donovan Mitchell, and Donovan Mitchell defensively just not going to be able to give you what he needs to give you.
No.
And then with Phoenix, they just haven't done it before.
And I don't think they can beat a Denver team in a 7-game series.
Who you talking about? Utah,
Suns or Utah. I don't think they could beat Denver in a 7-game series.
I want to see more from Denver.
Yeah, I want to see more from them.
I want to see more from Denver
because it was
disappointing.
It was a disappointment from what they did in the bubble.
Yeah.
To what they're doing now. Because what are they before the trade deadline? They were the 7th seed.
Right.
That ain't gonna cut it.
Yeah, it's not. I want to see more from them, and I want to see if Eric Gordon can maintain his role and maintain his level of play right now. Yeah. We need to see if that's going to work. But yeah, it's going to be interesting to watch. Real quick before we go, it's not a lot of NFL news this week, but because there was hella trades we talked about last week.
Yeah.
Sam Darnold gets traded today to the Carolina Panthers for a 6th-round pick in this draft, and then a 2nd and a 4 in 2022. Who do you think won that trade?
Carolina, because they're getting an upgrade over Teddy Bridgewater.
I don't know if they're getting an upgrade over Bridgewater, but they're getting an upgrade over their backup.
Yeah, I think they're getting an upgrade over Bridgewater. Sam Darnold's not bad.
I don't think he's bad.
He just played on a bad team.
Terrible franchise.
I bet you didn't know this. Who was the last Pro Bowl quarterback that the Jets had?
It's either Boomer Esiason or Vinny Testaverde.
Ken O'Donnell.
Oh, Ken O'Brien.
I'm sorry.
Ken O'Brien. Damn, it's that far back. Well, they're all around that same era. The Jets were Testaverde came later.
Yeah.
And then actually I think he did a couple stints with them. And then Boomer Esiason was in there.
Ken O'Brien made 2 Pro Bowls.
Wow. Was that with Al Toon?
Yeah.
That had to be the Al Toon years because he had like 400 catches in 4 years before his neck got hurt.
I say that to say, like, the Jets just never put pieces around quarterbacks.
Yeah. Well, they tried to with Mark Sanchez. That was the best chance. Santonio Holmes.
Like and then since they got Darnold, they never put anything around him.
Right.
Like, they never addressed the offensive line. They didn't put any weapons around them. They just always had a I'm not gonna say the best defense in the game, but their defense was always near the top.
Right.
They always put focus on
running
that side of the ball.
Yeah.
And running backs.
Right.
Like, you go out and get 96-year-old Frank Gore, and he's your best player on offense.
Yo, he really was their best player. They had receivers out there that just weren't pro-level receivers.
Right.
It was bad.
Now you get Sam Darnold in Carolina to where they got a running back.
And this was after you traded the best player on your football team, Jamal Adams.
Right.
That Darnold had to deal with. Yeah.
Right. So now he's on the team with Christian McCaffrey, and then you got Robbie Anderson, who was with the Jets.
Yeah.
And him and Sam Darnold had a nice little rapport.
They did.
So you're getting him back, and then like the Jets, like, you're gonna draft the quarterback at 2.
Right.
But then it's still gonna be, what are you gonna put around them?
Yeah.
I think they should have kept Darnold and then drafted Kyle Pitts or drafted one of them receivers or drafted Penei Sewell, the left tackle. Shore up, put something around your quarterback. We're gonna be revisiting this in a couple years if we're still doing the show, that when they draft a quarterback at 2, within the next few years they're gonna be back at the top of the leaderboard drafting a quarterback.
Well, yeah, it's the Jets. They have way too many holes on offense and defense. And to me, you got to have a difference maker somewhere at least one side of the ball. You look up and down their division, at least one side of the ball, the teams that are winning right now, they have a difference maker. We got Tre'Davious White. We got that shutdown corner. We got that guy. Mm-hmm. The Patriots have Stephon Gilmore. They have that guy.
Yes.
Even though this wasn't his best year, wasn't the best year. There was a lot of other factors that went into them, and they lost a lot of guys.
And you could say they got Dante Hightower. He's that guy.
Yeah, he's that guy at linebacker. I look at the Jets roster. I don't know who that guy is. Like, who is it? Tell me, offense and defense, who's a difference maker to Jets fans? And it's going to be Eagles dark.
Yeah.
I'm stressing that every time we talk about how bad teams are going to be. It's going to be as bad as the Philadelphia Eagles.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got the windows open today. We got dogs barking in the background. I'll tell people, this is a real place, right? Yeah. This is not a studio. You know what I mean? But anything else you want to touch on before we get up out of here?
Um, nah, there was I think there was a report that the Niners are going to draft Mac Jones at 3.
Mac Jones, in your opinion, how much better than Justin Fields is he?
Justin Fields is way better than Mac Jones
But why is Mac Jones getting all the hype?
because it's always the typical hype around Alabama quarterbacks.
But when has the Alabama quarterback ever done anything?
The last Alabama quarterback to do something in the NFL, I Joe
Greg
Namath.
McElroy. He held the clipboard for the starter.
I think Joe Namath was the last Alabama quarterback to do something
Yeah, I in my lifetime,
in my
I
lifetime.
can't recall an Alabama quarterback doing anything.
And my thing with that move is if you're gonna take Mac, I'm not a 49er fan. I'm hoping that this is just like smoke and mirrors.
Yeah,
But why trade up to 3 to get him when you could have got him at 12? Nobody was talking about Mac Jones.
and you have a quarterback that you say you're sticking with.
Yes.
So if you're gonna stick with Garoppolo, I don't know how Mac Jones comes in and plays better than Jimmy Garoppolo.
No.
You could potentially go get you another difference maker on either your D line is set, right?
Yeah.
But what's wrong with a linebacker or another corner, given what your division is doing? Your
Yeah.
division is loading up.
Yeah.
Y'all could have done something else and said you mortgaged all this other stuff. I guess they feel like their roster, if healthy, is up there, and it's questionable. Like I look at them and I say, if they come back healthy this year, oh, they got quite a team there.
Yeah.
But why would you draft a quarterback to sit at this point in your process? Right now, you need guys that can come in. You can plug in from day one.
Like my thing is, if you're gonna take a quarterback at 3,
Yeah,
I would take the kid Trey Lance from North Dakota
yeah.
because you already have Jimmy G. You can actually sit Trey Lance.
That's the thing. Politically, you won't have to force him into the game.
Right.
Because the pressure from fans, people got to understand, when it doesn't make sense, that's going to force you to make franchise killing decisions. Take this from a Buffalo Bills fan. We always make the wrong decisions at quarterback up until recently, very recently, because we got guys that were supposed to sit. Then the guys that were in front of them stunk or got hurt. We had to force them in there, and they were in there way too early, and it never worked out. So I don't know. I think there's a lot of hype, and I caution people when you talk about Trey Lance, Mac Jones, even Justin Fields. I don't really see like greatness in any of them. It's the situation is gonna, to me, weigh probably 80% of how they're gonna do.
Yeah.
Because
I think Trevor Lawrence is like the clear-cut best quarterback in this draft.
hands down,
And then I think Justin Fields is second, but it's not a close second.
no.
It's a distant second, and then all the other quarterbacks. Like I don't think Mac Jones is the third best quarterback in this draft.
Yeah,
I just don't see it. Like
yeah.
no Alabama quarterback does anything.
No, and I can't never glean like what their impact on the game was because, the defense is so good, the running game is so good, they're so dominant. Like they're hoping Buffalo takes. Everybody's saying we're taking Najee Harris. That's what I know Alabama for that and for linebackers
and wide receivers.
Yeah, that's about it.
And that's another thing with Mac Jones. Like, how good is he? Because you had Devontae Smith and like Najee Harris.
Yeah,
You had weapons where you really didn't have to do anything.
that's what I'm saying. I feel a Mitch Trubisky coming on. I feel a Paxton Lynch coming on. That's where I get when I hear these guys.
Yeah.
Paxton Lynch,
Yeah.
Mitch Trubisky, that kind of thing. And it's going to be very interesting, man. But that was just a great episode. Pick and Roll Podcast, episode 7. Make sure y'all follow us on Facebook, Indeo Group. Make sure you follow us on YouTube, Indeo Group on Instagram. And we'll definitely see y'all next week,
Super
man.
League starting Sunday.
Yo, Super League starting Sunday. My knees are ready, man. I've been balling a lot, but I've been taking some time off and resting. Rest is very important at this age.
Yeah, at this age. Yeah.
Yeah, dudes was outside playing ball today. They hit me. It's like, yo, we at Ridgeway. Not doing it.
Yeah, before I came here, I rode past Ridgeway.
They were out there?
Stopped
Full
up
force?
there. Yeah, I saw B-Max, saw C-Right. A couple guys out there.
Yeah, they're wilding on that black top. But, yo, we out.